Alright guys, perfect. So moving swiftly onwards with our speed manipulation part and overall our video speed section of the Adobe Premiere Pro Masterclass. On screen right now is a speed ramp. And as you can see right here, if you've never heard of a speed ramp before, they are pretty self-explanatory. For example, you saw right there when the first ramp kicks in right here, and don't worry, I'm going to be showing you in depth how to do these in a second. Essentially, this right here is a speed ramp. So it is going from this line here, which is regular speed, and then when it hits this ramp, it is a gradual increase, aka a ramp right here, to 300 or 200%. I forget what I actually put the example for, and then it's going to speed ramp down to about 50%, even though it's lagging a decent bit right now. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and give this a render in and out real quick so you could have a little more in-depth look at this. But overall, this is going to be our kind of deep dive into speed ramps, and overall, I'm going to level up this speed ramps video here in the next section as well, or in the next lecture as well, to actually walk you guys through an amazing method of how to blend clips together very well using speed ramps, aka speed ramp transitions. But this is our preview right here. It is going to speed ramp all the way to really fast, and this rapper is just going to be running around stage right now, and then it's going to speed ramp down as a gradual cut down to actually be 50% slow motion. Now, the reason this is so much nicer than using just the basic speed adjustments is because the process, for example, to make a clip slow down with the basic speed adjustments would just be to cut it where we would want it to slow down, right click it, and actually just make it 50%, but you see how here we have a really nice gradual ramp down to the slow motion, and we can even adjust this ramp to make it more of a gradual decrease or increase over here. However, with the basic speed adjustments, it would literally just be one chop, so it would change from regular speed, for example, and then once it hits that cut, it would just instantly chop to slow motion, which is kind of a little bit choppy, and overall, it's kind of just a little bit more, it just doesn't have the nicest look as these speed ramps do, where they really give you a nice transition down, and overall, they ease you into the speed change. But overall, that's the clip right there. Let's just go ahead and crack on with creating our first speed ramp right here, and we are actually just going to be jumping straight into this. So this right here is the original clip. This is a venue that was absolutely packed. I filmed this venue probably about 3 months ago. This is part of the live event videography that I do a lot of, and basically we're going to be exploring how to create our first speed ramp using this clip right here. So the way you would actually go about creating a speed ramp is you have to enable time remapping. So the way you would do that is not by right-clicking on the clip, and it's not by right-clicking on the side of it here. It's by right-clicking on this FX that I told you originally not to click on, funny enough. But if we click on that, we get the time remapping option here, the opacity and the motion. For us, let's go to time remapping and just go ahead and click speed, and you'll notice once we click that, the clip kind of changes to show us this line. And this line right here is the actual speed line. So the way we would actually go about altering this and creating our first speed ramp would be to actually press P on the keyboard, hence changing us to our pen tool, which we actually walked through in our keyboard shortcuts a while ago. But what we would then proceed to do is actually find the place in the video that we would want to add our speed ramp, whether that be an increase in speed or a decrease in speed. So let's just go ahead and watch this through until we could see a point that we could see might need some slow motion. And in fact, it's going to be this bit where the subject, aka the artist performing, is fully lit up. You see, as earlier he was a little bit darker, right here, but right now we want to find a bit where he's fully lit up. So for example, right here, and let's just go ahead and find a place where you guys would want to maybe start doing the speed ramp. And let's just go ahead and click with the pen tool. And if we zoom in, we notice at first appearance and at first glance, this has created one blue line. But in fact, if we actually click on this, and you see how the cursor changes from regular to that, if we click, hold, and drag out, we actually create two of these little customized dials, and there's actually a middle dial as well. However, these kind of look like they do nothing at first, and what this has actually done is split the clip right here to say that on here there could be one speed, and this side there could be another. You see how, again, it goes from the regular cursor to that kind of cursor, regular cursor to that cursor, and this is essentially the midpoint. So if we go onto the right-hand side, because we know on the right-hand side we want to, speed this up, let's say, we could actually click on this line right here and drag up. And you see those numbers instantly start to appear. And as we drag higher and higher, the numbers go higher and higher as well, because that is the percentage that we're increasing. So you guys know that by default, it's on 100%. If we put this to 300% right here, that is increasing the speed by 3 times. So I'm going to let it go on there. And this has created a ramp up from 100 speed, which this line represents here, gradually increasing to 300 speed. But that's actually not the end of it. We can actually go ahead and click these guys up here again, these 2 little dials, and see this other dial, this middle dial right here. If we click these little blue buttons to the side and just click drag to the side, we can adjust how much of a nice kind of blend and ease we have created into our speed ramp. So if we actually just create that, a pretty nice ramp up to our 300 speed from our 100 speed. And if we give this a play from here, I'm sure this is looking like a very nice increase. And you can always click these little dials up here at the top again and drag, for example, that one to the right or this one to the left to actually adjust the position of it, or how gradual of an increase it is. For example, like if we drag it all the way out, it's making it a bigger, more gradual increase. If we drag it all the way in, it's more of like a right angle, like a 90-degree angle. Either way, let's just go ahead and drag this back over here, and let's give this a play to see how well it's doing it and how well it's actually easing into this particular change. And just like that, it is quite a very nice ease into this particular speed manipulation and this particular change right here. And it's not as abrupt of a change as, for example, just adding a cut and then simply changing one speed to 50, one speed to 100 would be. This is a much nicer gradual increase, and it kind of eases us into the actual change in speed, and that right there is a speed ramp. And we're actually going to be moving on now, guys, to another method of creating speed ramps, but this is going to be how to actually create speed ramp transitions between 2 clips to make clips kind of seamlessly blend together. But without further ado, let's move on to that in the next lecture.